So our today's topic is uh, about what is the multi-gap feature in the FCCS, Financial Consolidation Closed Cloud. So before going into the application, I would like to begin with some functional understanding that what is multi-gap. So basically, what is gap? Gap is a generally accepted accounting principle, is commonly used for preparing the three more uh, core financial report, that is income statement, balance sheet, and the cash flow statement. All these three reports are the core report of any organization, and gap has laid down certain principles and definition that on the basis of this principle and definition you are required to prepare your financial reports. So it means to say that in the gap all the rules are defined for preparing these financial reports. Now you can see that there are three types of gap. One is local gap. Any entity which is carrying business in any country, they are, if they are going to use their this country specific gap, so we will say that this entity is following local gap. Whereas IFRS is another kind of gap which is mostly used by more than 110 countries across all over the world. So many countries are following IFRS and they are preparing their financial reports according to the standard prescribed in the IFRS. And this gap was designed by the International Accounting Standard Board. The third one is US gap, which is followed mainly in USA. All the entities sitting in USA, carrying their business in USA, they are following US gap. So we can see that we have the three types of gap. One can be a local gap, the other one can be IFRS, and the third one can be a US gap. So if the entity is carrying their business in the USA, they will follow US gap. If the entity is sitting in the carrying their business in the European countries or in UK, they are mainly following IFRS. And suppose the entity is carrying business in India, they are following local gap. There is Indian accounting standard is defined, and as per Indian accounting standard, any legal entity which is carrying business in India, they will prepare their reports according to the Indian accounting standard. So these are the three types of gap. Now I will try to focus your attention that what is the difference between the IFRS and the US GAAP. So we will try to identify what is the difference between the IFRS and the US GAAP. So basically, there is not much major difference, but the few difference which we need to be keep in mind while preparing our statement, that what is covered under the IFRS and what is covered under the US GAAP. Basically, US GAAP is more detailed and rule based. Why? Because every time when the companies are preparing their financial reports, and the statutory body notice that certain kind of scandals, or they found any kind of frauds. So what they will suggest, that they will write a rule for in the US GAAP book, so that this kind of a scandal will not repeat again. So any kind of loopholes they found in their standard, they generate a rule in their books, and so it is more kind of a detailed and rule-based GAAP. Whereas IFRS is more principle-based. They have defined the broadline structure under which the entity have to use their judgments, and according to that, they need to prepare their financial reports. So the another difference in the US GAAP and the IFRS GAAP is that in case of the long-term contract, when the outcome cannot be reliably measured, so in that case, completed contract method is used by the US GAAP. Whereas in the IFRS, it is used on the basis of the cost. So in the US GAAP, in case of long-term contract, suppose the contract is for 5 years, and once the contract is complete on the 5th year, the US GAAP is allowed to report all such expenses incurred on that project on the particular last year, and all the revenue in the same year. It means that on the last year under US GAAP, both the revenue and the expense will be written down. Whereas IFRS says that on the basis of the cost, whatever the cost you have incurred in the first year, you need to carry this figure into your financial statement, and you need to carry the equivalent amount of revenue extend to the cost incurred. So suppose in the first year, the company has incurred $1,000 for that particular project. So under IFRS, what will happen is that under IFRS, 1,000 will be recorded as a cost in the first year, and exactly equal amount, that is revenue, we will record revenue as a 1,000 in the same year. So it means to say that IFRS is saying that you report your income and expenses on the basis of cost incurred, whereas US GAAP is saying that in case if the long-term contract outcome cannot be reliably measured, you need to report only once the contract is complete. Another difference between US GAAP and IFRS is that US GAAP is using LIFO method for the valuation of inventory. It means LIFO method is basically last in, first out method. Whereas under IFRS, the inventory is valued on the basis of FIFO method. FIFO method is that means those goods which comes prior, it will be go out first. And the LIFO method is saying that those goods which come latest, it will go first. So US GAAP is using LIFO method, whereas IFRS says that you should use FIFO method for the valuation of inventory. Another difference of between US GAAP and IFRS is that what US GAAP is saying about the extraordinary income or infrequent income is to be separately reported in the income statement after income from the continuing operation. So in case you have any extraordinary income or income which is not frequent, you need to report this into your income statement. Once after you derive the figure of net profit, after that you need to add this extraordinary income or infrequent income into your income statement. Whereas IFRS is saying that Extraordinary income and infrequent income is to be reported in the income statement as an income from continuing business operation. So IFRS is saying that it shall be recorded as an income from the continuing business operation, and US GAAP is saying that you should report this as a separate income. After once you derive your net profit, then it should be reported separately, whatever the extraordinary income you have. Another major difference is that about the balance sheet presentation. What the US GAAP is saying that balance sheet presentation involves the presentation from the most liquid to non-liquid. So it means that when you will design your balance sheet under US GAAP, you need to report your most liquid assets first, then you should come to the non-liquid asset. It means that current assets should be recorded first. After that, you need to come to the non-liquid assets. So we will report under US GAAP, we will report current asset first. After the current asset, we will report a non-current asset. Whereas IFRS is just reversal of the same. IFRS is saying that while presenting your balance sheet, you need to report your non-liquid asset first. So it means you need to report a non-current asset first, and then you are required to present your current asset. So these are the few differences which I have shown to you between the IFRS and the US GAAP. And for and one more thing is that if you need to compare your, if you need to convert your IFRS figure into US GAAP or vice versa, you need to consider those adjustments while you will prepare a consolidated financial statement. If an entity is sitting in Europe and the subsidiary is sitting in the USA, so the entity which is sitting in USA are preparing their statement according to the US GAAP, and the parent company which is situated in Europe, they are preparing their statement according to the IFRS. So what will happen is that when you are going to consolidate your financial statement, what you have to do is that you need to convert your US GAAP number into the IFRS number, and whatever the adjustment you are required to do, so you have to convert, you have to put those adjustment number into the US GAAP financial report, so that the figure will get converted into the IFRS as per IFRS, and when both the figures are converted, so that the consolidation will be take place. So any difference, any kind of adjustment, you need to adjust while if according to the parent, what gap they are following. So we need to do such kind of adjustment in the statement of the subsidiary. So in the next slide, I have depicted the picture of how the balance sheet is presenting under the US GAAP. So you see that current assets, cash and cash equivalent, short-term investment, these are all the kinds of current assets. So what US GAAP is saying is that you should report your liquid asset first. So all the liquid assets are presented first. Thereafter, they had presented the non-liquid asset, that is fixed assets, goodwill, intangible asset. These are all non-liquid asset. Liquid asset means which can be easily convertible into the cash, and the non-liquid assets means that you have to wait for them to be converted into the cash. So this is the difference. In a similar manner, for the liability, current liabilities are reported first. Thereafter, the non-current liabilities are stated in the balance sheet. So this is the outline of the US GAAP. Now, one more thing is, if you look this balance sheet carefully, you see that this entity has published their figure as per local GAAP. Then any then his parent might be sitting in the USA. Therefore, they are required to convert this figure into the US GAAP. So they had put one more column of reconciliation to the GAAP, to US GAAP. So any kind of adjustment that they need to do for converting this figure into the US GAAP, they had put down this into the adjustment column. Once they put down this into the adjustment column, their numbers get converted into the US GAAP. So you can see that wherever there is adjustment, they had reported under the reconciliation to US GAAP. So these numbers get converted into the as per US GAAP. Now, in the slide, I have taken the output of balance sheet which had been prepared according to the IFRS. So you can see that non-liquid asset, that is non-current assets, are reported first. Thereafter, the current assets are reported in the thereafter current assets are reported. In the similar manner, the non-current liabilities are reported first, then the current liability. So the balance sheet presentation is vice versa for the IFRS and the US GAAP. So this is okay. Now coming to the next slide that relates to the FCCS. So when you are going to configure your application into the FCCS, so now I am talking about the FCCS multi-GAAP dimension member. So when you are going to configure your application into the FCCS, if the requirement is such that you need to enable a multi-GAAP feature in the application, FCCS has provided us the two options. Option one is that you can opt for any of the option according to your requirement. Option one they had provided is that where you need to carry where you need to report your figure on the basis of manual adjustment. It means that you will put your figure into the local GAAP, and then you are required to put your figure of adjustment to convert them into the IFRS or the US GAAP. If the parent is sitting in the US, then you will put down the adjustment numbers into the FCCS adjustment category, and you will get the number to the IFRS level, or if it is US GAAP, it will convert into the US GAAP. So under the manual adjustment, you can see upon the dimension member is that they had given you the option that you input your figure onto the FCCS local GAAP, and then they had given you the option of FCCS adjustment, where you will put the number of adjustment, where you will put the adjustment number to convert it into the IFRS or as per the US GAAP. So simply this is the adjustment member which will be used to convert this figure into the US GAAP or the IFRS. So this is one kind of option that they had given, and this is manual adjustment. So you see in sorry. So you see that I have put down the number into the smart view. So I have taken the intersection is that I am putting my number to this account on the FCCS local gap. So my number is 1000. Now I have put down under the adjustment member 100, 100. Now what the FCCS does is that these two amounts are clubbed together, and the 1100 number, what will be this number? This will be the number as per IFRS or as per US GAAP. So they had given you the adjustment member where you will put the number to convert your local GAAP figure into the US GAAP or into the IFRS. So this is the one kind of option that they had given, and that is called manual adjustment. Now the another option is given by the FCCS is that where you will enable the automatic adjustment. So under the automatic adjustment, if you look upon the dimension member, so they had given you the option of inputting your number into the FCCS local GAAP and into the IFRS, and that whatever the difference between the local GAAP and the IFRS, that difference will come into the FCCS adjustment category. So in the previous option, we are inputting the adjustment number. In the second option, that is automatic adjustment, what you need to do is that you will get from the client both the IFRS number as well as the local GAAP number. You will put down both these number into the into your application, and whatever will be the difference between the local GAAP number and the IFRS or the US GAAP number, that number will be derived in the FCCS adjustment number. So you see that I have put down 1000 under the local GAAP member. Then I have put down for the same account, I have put down that this amount should be 2000 under the IFRS. So I have put this 2000 number into the IFRS, and what the FCCS does is that they had taken the difference between these two, and this difference is reported as an adjustment in the application. So here the adjustment number is derived automatically, and in the previous you are inputting the adjustment number and your number get converted into the IFRS or as per US GAAP. So these are the two options that have been provided by the FCCS. Now as per the requirement of client, you need to enable these feature into your application, whether you want the manual adjustment or you want the automatic adjustment. So now on the basis of this, I have prepared this report into the application, and I will let you know that how the same can be achieved into the application. First, I am here in my application. I have opted the option of automatic adjustment. So in the application, I have put this number through the smart view, where I have put the number under FCCS local GAAP against these accounts. These are all assets account, that is current asset and the non-current asset. I have put down this number into the application as in the local GAAP. In the local GAAP member, I have put down this number. Now, since I have enabled the automatic adjustment, I have inputted the number of IFRS. So wherever there is no change in the number, I have put down the same number. So as per IFRS, I have put down this number, and what you find is that after putting both this number as per the our requirement, the adjustment number is automatically picked by the system. Since this is gray out, this was automatically picked by the system, and this number we have inputted into the application. So now moving into the application. So I have put down all these figures into the application. Now I am showing that how we had derived this report through the Web Studio. This was the balance sheet that I have designed according to the multi-gap option. So at this intersection, I am generating my report. So I have taken my legal entity LE01 for the period for which I am generating this report for the period of January, where I have inputted my number. On the view basis, I am looking this as a year to date. I am looking this report on the entity currency. I have inputted this number for FY18, and the other member is that I am looking this number on the intercompany top, and the movement member, I have inputted this number on the no movement, so I'm looking at this movement. I have inputted data through data input, so I am looking at this intersection. My consolidation dimension member is FCCS entity total, and my scenario is actual. So once you can see that I have taken all the accounts where I have inputted my number into the rows, and for these accounts, I am generating report against this member. This is my gap member. For under FCCS local gap, I am generating my number. Under FCCS adjustment, I require my adjustment number, and after combining this, I require IFRS number. So in this way, according to your requirement, you can generate a report whatever requirement you have, and whatever the requirement the client give you, you have the option of generating these kind of report through the Web Studio. So I have put down all my current asset first, then I have put down all my non-current asset. This is the sample balance sheet. This is not the complete balance sheet where the asset is equal to owner's equity plus liability. This is just I have prepared for your understanding that how could we achieve this. So I am going to show you that what it looks like when you generate the preview of the same. So looking into the HTML preview. So you can see that for this account, the number is coming to the local gap. There is no adjustment, and the same number is reported into the IFRS. For property, plant, and equipment, we have inputted this number. The FCCS adjustment number automatically comes, and the FCCS IFRS number is coming here. So in this way, you can create your balance sheet according to the multi-gap requirement. So now if you if you would like to ask any question to me on this, you can ask to me.
Yeah, hi, Sandeep. I have one question. That
Right.
CTA is when we enable the application, we have an option of CTA whether to record in balance sheet or whether to record in income statement. If in multi-gap, I have a requirement where CTA is recorded as per IFRS in income statement, as per local gap in balance sheet. So how do we achieve this?
No, CTA account is basically the account, its type. It could be the asset or it could be the liability. CTA could be the CTA could be only the asset or it could be the liability. It could not be the income.
No, my point is like one of the requirement in IFRS is I have to impact this CTA in my P&L account, and for local gap I have to impact this in my balance sheet. But when I create the application, I cannot say that CTA has to be like like application creation. We don't have an option for this one. CTA has to be reported as the same way for all the gaps. But the
Right.
requirement is such that how we can achieve that.
Then the only option that I suppose is that we need to create a separate account member for the CTA. And that's how, because see, the CTA account number, CTA account member is derived by the system. Once you define the translation rate, the CTA amount is automatically derived by the system. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So this CTA amount is coming into the onto the legal entity. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Now this CTA account is basically the balance sheet member. So it will be reported as an asset or as a liability. However, I am not getting your problem, but if you could give me just the scenario that how it could be like that, so might be I will be able to help it out.
Okay, sure. I will check and let you know.
Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Any more question? Hello. Yes.
Yeah. I have one question, like how do you handle the different grouping situation? Just for example, if I say for the exceptional item, when it is IFRS, it doesn't accept the head called exceptional item. You have to report it separately as a compulsory disclosure, whereas in US GAAP you have to disclose it, let's say, as a part of the profit and loss, whereas in Indian GAAP we require a separate head called exceptional item. So how do you handle these situations?
This you can handle